Hey, emissary. What's up, man? Oh, yes, I was expecting the Queen to be surprised by our request. Don't you worry, I'm sure the trip to Kryta will give her time to cool off. Once she sees her beloved husband's real visage, I'm sure it will light the fire of love in her heart once more. I'm sure it will. My inventory is full! Please make room and speak to him again. We're actually full on trick-or-treat bags. Hilarious. Let's delete these crude daggers then. Thank you very much. Right, next quest. Greetings, flesh bearer. Am I glad to see you? Much progress has been made towards releasing our most glorious king on the unsuspecting world. Well, I think we are suspecting, really. What pleasant surprise this will be for them. I've been devising a plan that will not only aid in our king's release to the mortal realm, it will also shape the political climate in preparation for his return. When our king was among the living, there was an up-and-coming king in Alona who had delusions of grandeur and far too little respect for our undead liege. The two of them had many squabbles over the years, some nearly turning into full-scale wars. My lord often mentioned that one of his greatest regrets in life was not decorating his throne room with the entrails of that disrespectful swine, Palawa Joko. While I would never ask you to deprive our king of the opportunity to face that hacking combat, undead man to undead man, that doesn't mean we can't have a little fun with Joko in the meantime. Not only that, but I believe we could also use this as an opportunity to assist our imprisoned king escape from his forsaken realm. According to the greatest scholars in the lunatic court, even Grenth can get overwhelmed at times. For us, the logistics of killing hordes of unruly villagers was a big enough headache. I can only imagine the organisational nightmare it must have been for Grenth to categorise all of those souls once they arrived in the underworld. If you were to go and deliver some truly incendiary words, I'm certain it would rekindle the conflict between King Thorn and Palawa Joko. Depending on your tongue, I'd be willing to bet that the rotting pushover would send wave after wave of his enslaved undead army to engage him in battle. Release enough of their souls and it should keep Grenth buried in paperwork, unable to notice our king's return to the mortal realm. Our logic is infallible. Alright, what could possibly go wrong with such a perfect plan? Okay, I don't feel like starting any interdimensional undead conflicts today. That sounds amazing, come on, I'm all for interdimensional undead conflicts. So, I love this, I love what they do here. Okay, you've got Mad King Thorn, who's like an undead, seemingly immortal guy that's, granted he is in the mists, and mortality isn't really a big deal in the mists, but you've got him and you've got Palawa Joko, and they're kind of similar characters. So I love how ArenaNet in 2010 were like, hey, let's add a couple of quests that show the interaction between Mad King Thorn and Palawa Joko, because Palawa Joko is a really interesting character himself. When we do the Shards of Aura, I've still got some thoughts on him and him as a, because he's a lich, okay, so bear that in mind. So it is very interesting. I love what happens with the quest here. This basically begins something and is revisited in 2011. Hold on, let me add these guys. It doesn't actually matter what heroes or henchmen you add for this quest, and I'll explain why in a second. But this is continued in 2011, this conflict between Mad King Thorn and Palawa Joko. It's so good. Alright, so we're going out into Joko's domain. I just love anything with Palawa Joko. He's very quickly becoming one of my favourite antagonists, if he even is an antagonist in Guild Wars 2, because we know he's at war with Zaitan, using his undead forces against Zaitans come Guild Wars 2. So we could have like a temporary alliance with him again in Guild Wars 2. Despite the fact that he's completely ruled over and enslaved Alona by that time. All it takes is 250 years. It's like the Order of Whispers says. He can just stand there and lay in waiting. Right, so we're going to hit this worm spore. This quest's really easy. Really easy. As in, you can AFK the quest. You get everybody into your Janundus. Okay. Flag them all back here. Just leave them here at the door, because this is where all the fighting is going to be happening. And run over to these Mad King guards here. And these guys will trigger. The dialogue will begin. Come on, we're going to attack the Bone Palace. So Palawa Joko says, who dares lay siege to my citadel of death? I'm Palawa Joko, the Scourge of Vabi. I come bearing a message from Mad King Thorn of Kryta. I love how it kind of assumes that we're like attacking the Bone Palaces if we don't have instant access to it whenever we want. I guess that's kind of true, considering that in the storyline, really, we're not in an allegiance with Palawa anymore, and he's a bit of a threat, and we shouldn't really know where he is, or maybe the Janundu aren't offering us help anymore, because it's been about 4 years since the events of Nightfall in the timeline right now, because don't forget this is after the war in Kryta, which takes place a year after Eye of the North, which in turn takes place like 3 years after Nightfall, or 2 years after Nightfall. Anyway, sorry, I just missed a bit of dialogue. He says, the message from Mad King Thorn is, your mother was a dredge, and your father smelled of junie berries. The Candyman infantry of the Mad King. Of course, you know this means war. Attack them, my minions. King Thorn will pay for this outrage. Blast you, you withering horde of worthless undead. Stop eating their fallen and attack. So yeah, you just stand here and just destroy all these guys. This quest's amazing, by the way. get it for Halloween because if you're interested in your Vanquisher title, this is, in my opinion, Joko's Domain, the hardest place to vanquish. With maybe a couple of exceptions, but it's an insanely difficult place to vanquish. Lots of people have trouble with it. Using this quest, you can basically knock off about 100 enemies, less spawn in the area, just by virtue of having this quest activated, which will really help you. And I think a few other things help you as well, but I can't quite remember what Wiki suggested. Oh, Pilar is still speaking. He says, "Oh, have the Mad King's head for this. I swear to you, the Bone Palace will smell of freshly cooked pumpkin pie by the night's end." Okay. That last line makes a lot more sense when you understand that Mad King Thorn's got a pumpkin for a head. Yes, he does. I know we've still not seen him. We'll see him next video, though. Trust me. When we do the 2011 stuff. Because how it's been, basically, with Halloween until this year, you could never see Mad King Thorn except for during the finale when he comes and visits in person, a bit like with the Emperor visiting in person for the Dragon Festival. But this year they added a quest where you can see Mad King Thorn all the time, so we will see him pretty soon. Anyway, Palawa says, "Fall back, my minions. We shall regroup for a counter-offensive. All of Tyria will pay for this grave offense. I will burn cities, flood valleys, enslave nations. You have incited the wrath of Palawa Joko. Mark my words, you will all pay." Do you know what's cool about this? What he says here, I will burn cities, flood valleys, and slave nations. He's foreshadowing exactly what's going to happen. When you read The Movement of the World about what happens in the 250 years, this original article that they released with Eye of the North, or just after Eye of the North release, it explains what happens in Elona, and explains that this is what Palawa does to Elona. He dams the river again, he floods them, and stuff like that. It's just very, very cool. So yeah, there we go. Maybe now, us, the hero, it's our fault that Elona falls in the future. I don't doubt for a second that Pilar was planning on recapturing Elona anyway, regardless of Mad King Thorn pissing him off. See, that kind of makes Mad King Thorn seem like a good guy as well, because he's kind of against Palawa, which is quite interesting, even though Mad King Thorn himself seems just as bad. He just wants to control things. And he was a terrible king. He's corrupt. What he did with that famine and having the feast with his courts and stuff. Oh, just ridiculous. Okay, so we're going to speak to the emissary again. He says, "Oh, how I wish I could have seen Palawa Joko's face as you destroyed wave after wave of his pathetic army. But I can be patient. I will stand in the front row when King Thorn returns and drives a true war of terror and destruction across all the known kingdoms of Tyria. You have served your king well. Here is your reward. Even more trick-or-treat bags." Alright, so here's the last quest. Alright. Of 2010. The time when our king may freely roam this world again is surely drawing near. Then it will be like old times again, the blessed way things once were. How many years ago do you think this was? It must have been a fair few. Imagine the thrill of being alive when any moment could be your last. Wouldn't life taste that much sweeter? If only those unfortunate peasants could have seen that gift for what it was. This is quite interesting here. There's obviously a joke, right? But there's actually quite a few books, films, games in existence where the bad guy is written so badly, this is basically the reason for why they're evil. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, but before the king may walk free again, one of his greatest rivals must leave this world. His name is Quetzalcoatl, okay? And don't expect me to say that too many times. I have never seen anyone equal our liege when it came to telling jokes, until those two crossed paths. I nearly died that day from laughing too hard. How I managed to survive is still a mystery, but one thing is not a mystery. Quetzalcoatl must die. There can be no one funnier than our great king. I've heard Quetzalcoatl was last spotted in Vitendi Valley. Go and knock him dead. This is one punchline I'm ready to deliver. Okay, I don't think I can add any more jokes. So one thing about Mad King Thorn, which we're only just really experiencing here, that's been common knowledge to many players over the years because they've actually participated in the finales of the Halloweens. Mad King Thorn loves to tell jokes. In the finale, he'll appear at Kamadan or at Lion's Arch and tell lots and lots of jokes, and this is like a big part of who he is. And people love the jokes because they're just so bad. And like I think ArenaNet added some new ones recently, which was really cool of them, but it's just hilarious. So this is a big part of Mad King. Oh shit, I didn't add any new heroes. Whoopsie. Yeah, this is like a big part of Mad King Thorn. So somebody else who's just as good at telling jokes is not good. We're gonna have to take him out. As the lunatic court advises. So let's get going. That was quite cool where they chose for this quest to be in the Vitendi Valley, because as you might remember, Nightfall wasn't too long ago. This one's the one that's at night, which is quite fitting considering it's a Halloween quest. He's down there on that field. Obviously, there's two exits from the marketplace. I'd recommend coming down this one. You could go down the top one, but that there, it might look like you can walk there, but you can't, so don't try it. Come down this way. If you don't have it unlocked, as a lot of people probably don't, you can go to the Chantry of Secrets and walk up. I personally think is a little bit of a longer walk, but whatever, it's minute anyway, so it doesn't mean that much. We'll come this way. There is a lot of enemies that sort of get in your way on this particular path, so I guess that is a reason to go against it, but anyway. I do think that this might be one of those quests where I'll just do a lot of speeding up, really. There's not much to say about this. We're not in line with Halloween content, at least. Most of it's, you know, Nightfall stuff, which I've already talked about when we were here before. It's nice coming back to these old places. It really is. It's nice because it's like you just look at everything we've done through the Let's Play, and it's like, yeah, we've been here, we've done this. And, you know, the list has grown. We've done a lot. We really have. Alright, let's keep going. So yeah, I will speed it up and cut out the fights as well, so it goes quite quickly. I'll see you guys in a second. Oh man, I love playing on Matt. So many numbers you get is brilliant. Okay, alright, so here we go. This is the guy here. This is Quetzalcoatl, and he's allied. Yes, I did just pronounce that 100% correctly. He's allied to us, but he's got a lot of phantoms around him. You can see he's doing this weird dance thing. And yeah, he actually looks, he's an Eidolon, if you remember what an Eidolon was. And you see we just cannot understand what he has to say at all. If you remember what the Eidolon was? The Eidolon was the very rare creature in the southern Shiver Peaks that we had to kill to get the essence, which then the Seers used to infuse our armor to defend us against the Messart. Well, it turns out this guy's an Eidolon as well, a very ancient thing. Maybe this is why he knows so many decent jokes. He's got some cool skills. He's got words of madness, you see. He's got such a cool animation for that. Just keep hammering into him, he'll get knocked out. Now, this dialogue he comes across with here, this is another thing. How do people translate this? It's another one of those cryptograph things. I don't know how people do it, but they can translate it. And this says, this is actually a real joke. Can you see this? It's a line with a question mark, and then there's another line with an exclamation mark. It's a real joke, okay? It's a terrible, terrible joke. But it's in reference to the fact that this guy's an Eidolon, okay? So, are you ready for it? Okay, the joke is, why did the Seer, and I feel so stupid because I've already read this out loud in another video, but the joke is, why did the Seer chase after the Eidolon? Yeah, any ideas? No? Well, you can't answer. So the answer is because time is of the essence. Yes, it's an hilarious joke. I'm sure that would have given at least one person a chuckle. The original guy who translated it must have just, I could just imagine him sitting there with just like a completely flat face, reading it and then just going, huh. And that's about it, but it's cool that ArenaNet went in to do it. So we kill him. So funny, he makes my sides hurt. Not really, but there you go, he's gone. It turns out Mad King Thorn isn't that funny either, as it turns out. Don't expect too many forced laughs from me at the finale, because there probably won't be that many. We're going to come up here. And yeah, that's it, actually. That's the end of the quest chain. There, you see, Alona's really not so long. We're on 36 minutes at the moment, but a lot of that last one will get cut out, so I don't know, maybe I'll pad this out a little bit so we get a nice 2 even 20 minutes. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. Ignore that was the Underworld quest chain. Here we go. Alright, so he says, oh, how I wish I could have seen the look on Quetzalcoatl, well, whatever it has that passes for a face. When he met, see, these guys are much funnier than that guy was. Anyway, surely Great King Thorn must be free now. Strange, nothing really feels that different. But I'm certain our plans went ahead flawlessly. One thing is certain, the barrier has weakened. If this is not the year that we succeed, then by next year our court will rule again, and this world will once again know true brilliance. It's quite interesting they say this, because obviously now it's 2011, they've added the 2011 things, and he's not broken out at all. So, not quite sure what's going on there. Like I say, it's very interesting to think about this, isn't it? What actually, when will Mad King Thorn get out? It's quite cool. Like, they did add the fluxes halfway through the year, so things are getting weaker, things are getting a bit more crazy. Does that mean fluxes are going to exist as a gameplay mechanic or in lore in Guild Wars 2? They haven't announced it, so I doubt it will. But it could do. I mean, they don't have many game types in Guild Wars 2, so they can have it all nice and balanced, and hopefully they don't have to resort to that kind of thing. There's another MMO that does it, isn't there? I can't quite remember what it is, though. You've done your part well, and for that you'll be rewarded. Now, go. Enjoy your time in our King's presence, savor the knowledge that this is the future awaiting you. Brilliant. So, whether for better or worse, we have done all of that stuff now. We're helping Mad King Thorn. Maybe the 2012 quests will release him fully. No, but it can't. By 2012, Guild Wars 2 will probably be out. So, I wonder what will be here next Halloween. It's interesting. It's quite a weird thing, since I may as well just talk about it for a second. When Guild Wars 2 does come out, I intend to continue following and continue doing content, regardless of how few people care about it. Guild Wars content when the live team adds more stuff, because I just think it's so good for continuing doing it, even up till now, before the game's even out. So it's quite weird to think of what we might be doing this time next year. but I guess we'll see that when we see it. There you go. That's all of those quests. That's 2010. Next video, I'm not going to film another one today. It's getting late anyway. I've done so many videos today. Tomorrow, Mad King Thorn, the finale will happen because tomorrow is Halloween itself, the 31st, and there will be lots of finales. And Mad King will start meeting people, telling jokes and stuff. I'll talk about that on the video. And on that same video, I'll do the 2011 thing because honestly, it's not that much stuff. It's a repeatable challenge mission, but I only really need to show it to you guys once, and then we'll squeeze those in together. Well, that's what we got for tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed what we had for today. I love these cat ears. Maybe I'll keep these for the end of Eye of the North. I don't know. We will be getting our new armour for Eye of the North soon as well, though, so that should be quite cool. Alright, in any case, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a good night.